Hello, and welcome to the We Recommend podcast, a movie podcast where every week we recommend a movie for you to watch and then come back here and listen to us discuss. I'm Jesse.
I'm Jason. It just got away from me.
It got away from you. It's a train, Dewey, not a chipmunk, because this week we recommend Unstoppable. So this is Unstoppable that came out in 2010.
Yes.
It is our boy's Tony Scott's last movie. Do you know anything about Tony Scott?
No, did he do Training Day? Because that would be funny.
No, but he should have done Training Day. I've actually never seen Training Day. So he did the first Top Gun. This is the man that created Top Gun.
Much better movie.
Yeah. What? Oh no, this movie rules, Jason.
It's like a blue collar wet dream.
Yeah, it's great. Well, Top Gun's a secret like gay lover airplane movie.
Yeah.
This is like just two men falling in love on a train. You have two men falling in love in the air in a plane. The man knows how to make two men fall in love in different transportations.
Yeah, I mean, there's no high fives at all.
Yeah, well, they do. Puts his fist in the air at the end. He also did True Romance, Man on Fire, Deja Vu.
That was good.
Crimson Tide.
He loves Denzel.
Spy Game, Enemy of the State. He really does love Denzel. Domino, like the guy crushes. Oh, The Last Boy Scout. Have you ever seen that?
Long ass time ago.
And then he did Beverly Hills Cop. So, just someone
pretty good movies.
Yeah, the guy is a good director, and this was his final film, and it's really good.
What do you want to do for your last film, Tony?
Trains.
Trains.
I
like trains.
I like trains. So this movie had a budget of $100 million, and it made 167 worldwide. So it was a hit. It's not one of those nobody talks about it, but everybody loves it.
I'd never heard of it.
When I talked to us, hey, have you seen Unstoppable? It's like, what's that? And I was like, it's the one Denzel, Chris Pine, they're on a train. It's Unstoppable. Like, oh yeah, I love that movie. Everybody knows it and everybody likes it. I mean, it's such a fun movie for me, I guess, because it's like Speed, but train.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right?
It had some very silly moments to me.
Yeah. Well, but name one.
Name one.
Now, the whole beginning, but the thing is based on a true story. So the whole beginning on how it started, with the guy getting out of the train and stuff, that was real.
Oh.
Except in real life, it wasn't going as fast. It was going 25 to 40 miles an hour, something like that. And they were able to attach another train to it and slow it down to 11 miles per hour. And then they're able to get on. But This is actually a real story. It's just not quite as, dramatic. But it was, I think it was carrying the same type of chemicals as this train was in the movie. So it wasn't the only difference is a lot of the other train cars were empty. So it wasn't as heavy to stop, I guess. So that's really kind of the only difference. It wasn't like a
Chrysler building on wheels.
It's a missile heading straight for the size of a Chrysler building. Oh God, it's so good. But I just I love the filmmaking in this though, because trains don't look like they go fast. Just visually, if you film the train, it wouldn't look like it's going fast. But Tony Scott, he used 12 cameras at a time every shot, just because they're constantly flying around.
Each one all the time.
I know, it was great. It's because you have to make this train feel like it's a speeding bullet.
Out of control.
And so they're constantly having things pass in front of the camera to make it seem like it's going faster and going the opposite direction. So it really looks like it.
Yeah, a lot of moving shots.
Yeah. And then slowly they're building up that, wait, this isn't a train. This is a fucking monster here.
Yes.
After it.
I wish it did have a monster face on the front of it.
Funny thing is, they added animal noises to some of the train sounds. So it sounds more of a living creature and more of a roar, which is, it's every time it cuts to it and it's a front shot of the train. It's roar. It's what? It's this monster became Godzilla halfway. This train became Godzilla halfway through.
I would watch that movie.
We have to stop it. It's it just transforms into Godzilla.
Godzilla train.
Actually, it's funny. If you watch Shin Godzilla, it's kind of similar to this movie. There's just people in rooms how are we going to fix this?
We can't stop him. He's walking too fast.
Yeah. Well, no, it's just they can't destroy Godzilla.
So why didn't they do the thing they did at the end in the very beginning?
They just didn't think it was going to be so they didn't know that they could grapple onto it. because no one, I guess, saw like the back of the train, and it's like so dangerous, I guess. And I guess they just had better plans, like sending the guy in the helicopter down onto it, which seemed like a good plan.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just, he hit the bump at the wrong time. And then they just didn't have enough tracks. It's like there's so much train tracks in this, but it's like there's just never enough to, because they wanted to get it off of the rail, and that's what ends up crushing him. The killing that one, whatever that guy's name. I can't remember. I got it in my notes though. But also, Denzel, dude. You love Denzel?
I like Denzel.
Denzel's great.
He's pretty good, and I like in this movie how he's whenever we find out that he's right about something that he knew about, he's kind of funny with it.
Yeah, he's like, yeah.
Ha!
I was 28 years in the railroad system. I know what I'm talking about.
I know trains.
There's just something about Denzel that makes me so happy. Like when he starts smiling and laughing, I'm always like, I just immediately start smiling and laughing.
Like, oh, good.
It's just like, oh, hell
all is
yeah.
well in the world.
If Denzel's having fun, then that means I can have fun. Chris Pine.
Although in Training Day, he's so off-putting.
I've never watched the whole thing.
He's a scary person in that movie.
I know.
And when he smiles in that one, you're like, oh no.
Uh-oh. Me and Natalie are planning on watching that soon, so I can't wait to do it. What did you think about Chris Pine in this? He's fine.
He's fine.
He's like good to look at.
I really like Chris Pine in
Star Trek.
Yeah,
he's great. I think that's what that really boosted him up. He's so funny in that.
Yeah,
charming. And this one, I think he's
super duper strong somehow.
Yeah,
I don't understand.
I mean, have you seen his muscles? Oh, Star Trek Beyond. They're like, take your shirt off, boy. Because they did. That was literally. They're like, well, since we showed like a girl changing in the second one, we're gonna make Chris Pine take off his shirt in the third one, so they can't say we're sexist.
Or the alien girl that's hiding in his room.
Oh no, it was like the blonde girl in the second one.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, they just like walks in on her and she's changing. It's like, why is this in here? This was strictly just to have a half naked woman on screen.
Yes.
Rosario Dawson, great. Apparently she's super into trains, and every time she goes somewhere, she takes a train. So that she could, she tries to take a train that she's never taken before. Something I never thought I would know about Rosario Dawson. But she plays Connie. She's great. Then you got Ethan Suplee as Dewey. Damn.
Oh man, he plays the best. He's always like the big dumb fat guy.
Yeah. Like in what is it, Boy Meets World?
Yes.
He's in that. What I remember him most from always is the Butterfly Diaries or the Butterfly Effect, not Diaries. I was thinking of Vampire Diaries.
Yeah.
And I don't even really know that movie. Is this when I watched it once? I just remember him being like a goth boy, and I'm like, what?
Yeah.
Ethan Suplee?
Or in My Name Is Earl.
Yes, he's so good in My Name Is Earl. Oh, love him. Oh man. Then you got a surprise T.J. Miller. I forgot he was in this. Honestly, he's Galeese. It's a fun name. And my secret favorite character is Inspector Warner. Yeah, Warner.
The guy with the mutton chops.
Yeah, and like, yeah, he just like kind of like, hey, I'm here for a train thing, and then he's like, oh well, you're in luck because we got a huge train situation here. I'm glad you're here. Actually, it's so good.
Yeah, he was so intense. They make train people so intense.
Yeah. Well, this is the time when trained people have to be intense.
This is the best day of their life.
This is the worst case scenario, and you want your best train men on it. No, I mean, I just think that I know this movie can be a little silly, and it might just be kind of like a stupid like action movie. I still liked
it, like even though it was silly.
It's just like so well paced. It's not overly long. You kind of get into like, oh, you meet your characters. They don't like each other. Now they're in a train. Oh, by the way, there's an unstoppable train. There's a runaway train. And it's like, all right, we're in it. And then slowly, like the tension builds up because there's a lot of close calls. I can't wait to get to the horse scene because there's just such a beautiful shot in it from inside the trailer.
What did you think about Denzel's daughters?
Oh, working at Hooters?
Yeah. I thought that was pretty funny funny that when he said it, of course, but then they kept going back to the Hooters.
Yeah, and it's like everybody's watching
it at the bar.
Yeah. And it's like, hey, I mean, this is like Philadelphia's biggest news story today. Everybody's gonna watch it. Like, turn off the fucking game. There's a missile the size of the Chrysler building coming up here. Something funny in it, I do feel like, is that Philadelphia might be terrible at evacuating cities.
Yeah.
Because people are constantly right next to the tracks through the entire movie.
And they're like in the path of destruction.
Yeah, it's like, yo, y'all gotta get these people out of here.
Even Chris Pine's like wife and son, they're just like next to the curve that if it were to derail, they would all be vaporized.
It's like, what the heck?
Let's go to there.
Yeah.
And look at it.
Yeah, it's wild. I was like, you guys, like, cops, get everybody off these damn roads, man. We gotta go.
And get away from the big bullet train.
What the hell? But it is something. This is one of those things about something else. Oh, go ahead.
Oh, well, while I was watching, I was like, could this be the alternate dimension of the Addams family when he wrecks the trains?
Oh,
because this is what's happening in his train town.
It's like if a camera just shrunk into it, and then all of a sudden it becomes this is what it is.
It does, because it shows that one guy, but like the other train is the one that like I'm talking about, and like we can't slow it down because of this. No, it's because Gomez Addams wants you to die.
Wow. We just
interesting
conspiracy theory here. Oh my gosh, Reddit, look into it. This is one of those movies where it's like it shows the process of something, right? Like them going to pick up train cars, seeing Denzel and they're like toggling switches and stuff. And I love movies that shows me like how things work while we're also watching it.
And then they're also explaining how it's working while they're doing it.
Yeah. And it's like, okay, cool. And that's why you get like, like the young guy in there. So it's like, oh, I can explain it. He's just trained. So now there's a reason we can give this dialogue. But I just love seeing people like, like him maneuvering everything, like the switches. And it's like, I've never thought about how trains work.
Yeah, I guess
I just thought they just pressed a button and it went.
It is kind of satisfying.
Yeah. And just like seeing like the juxtaposition of like the train going fast and then just seeing them just like going to pick up some cars, and it's like, man,
they tell me about your whole life.
Yeah, and just all the shots of just like the trains going into the stations and like picking up cars. They're just, I don't know, they're really beautifully shot, but it's also just things I never think about, and I like movies that make me think about.
It gives you kind of some insight into why people love trains so much. Maybe.
Yeah, it made me like trains a little bit.
That's cool.
And scared of them at the same time because they can't stop. Dang it! Even if they're going like 11 miles an hour, it's like we're not going to be able to stop in time, and we're going to have to back up the train, and this is going to cause like another hour of work. And it's like, dude, trains are crazy.
Trains are crazy.
They just don't stop, and they take forever to go, but also you can't stop them. So what is this?
They should put on
wheels on them.
Or like parachutes, like the fast cars use to slow down when they drag race.
Oh yeah, just like a bunch of parachutes. Like we have to stop.
And it just flies up in the air.
Yeah,
explodes.
Also, something really cool about this movie was the truck on the train tracks, like the railway truck that like Dewey and Galise are in.
Yeah.
Never thought about that. And that seems really cool. And I'd like to drive a truck on a train track.
I know. It seems like a cool place because you could go real fast and nothing's ever going to be in your way.
It's like you can't turn off. You're just driving, even though they did have a wheel. So I'm like, I guess you can unattach and then just drive it along. But
no, because the wheels will not drive on the road.
Yeah. Well, but it still had wheels on it. So I'm assuming you could like detach it from maybe the rail thing.
I don't know, man.
I don't know. But it was cool. Is this something that, like you never really think about?
I was upset that they didn't have the old timey like crank thing.
Yeah.
Like that would have been really funny.
If Dewey couldn't catch up to that train, he's not going to be able to do it that way. That poor guy though. Like, damn. It's this, whenever we're in our factory and we have our safety training, it's like, Dewey should have been there for his train safety training. It sucks that he probably called out that day. All right, just a few little facts. There's not a lot. So, like I said earlier, the film is inspired by the Crazy Eight's unmanned train incident in 2001. The train led by CSX Transportation, bunch of numbers, left its Walbridge, Ohio rail yard and began a 66-mile journey through northwest Ohio with no one at the controls. After the engineer got out of the original slow-moving train to correctly line a switch, mistakenly believing he had properly set the train's dynamic braking system, just as his counterpart in the movie did, two of the real train's tank cars also contained thousands of gallons of molten phenol? I don't know how to say it. Similar to the fictional train in the film. Yeah, so it was a real thing.
How do you spell that? Phenol.
Yeah, phenol. Yeah, PHENOL.
Oh, Phenol.
Phenol.
Huh.
Phenol. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. We can't say words sometimes.
Explosion stuff.
Especially me. Yeah. Well, apparently it's not like it won't explode, but it's like very toxic fumes and stuff like that.
Yeah, trains love carrying toxic shit around.
And it's used for dyes and adhesives. So
gross.
Apparently. So Chris Pine performed all his own stunts. Denzel Washington had like 7 stuntmen, one for each day of the live shots on running trains. According to Tony Scott, in addition to insurance concerns, Denzel got a fear of heights apparently and had him up at 25 feet on a 50-mile-per-hour train, which was no easy task. When Washington is on top of the tanker car, that's really him. No CGI.
Oh, fuck.
There really isn't a lot of CGI in this.
Yeah, I didn't really...
Like, you don't notice it. It just seemed like they actually... I mean, $100 million in 2010... I think they're just ramming trains into things, man.
What a fun day.
I know. God, what a great movie to be on set for, you know? It's like, oh, we're going to shoot at a train with some bullets?
Yes.
Okay, cool. Let's try that.
Yes.
I think that was actually something that wasn't real. That was just kind of something they added for the movie.
Yeah, they should have used like the beanbag guns.
Yeah.
And not bullets.
Yeah. And especially since they're
like,
bigger and might have a better chance of hitting.
Yeah.
It might have been better. It was pretty funny because as soon as they started shooting, like the captain's like, fuck, wait, there's gas.
Yes.
Why would they put this right over the gas tank? So one of the fun things, so how do you think they controlled the train in this movie?
But I don't know. Ox.
They used it like a remote control car.
Oh, cool.
They just remote controlled it. So it's the same way as they do toy cars. They just did it for a giant train.
Big RC train.
It's really cool. I want an RC train. So, and just our last little one, there wasn't a lot of like super interesting facts, but 20th Century Fox executives asked Denzel Washington to shave $4 million from his standard fee of $20 million. Denzel making that bank. They also asked Tony Scott to cut $3 million from his usual $9 million fee, citing frustrations with a lack of a start date. Washington withdrew from the film, so he technically wasn't going to be in it. But then they gave him a bunch of like,
they gave him a train.
They gave him like a enticement package, and apparently they revised the script. And then Denzel was like, "Okay, I'm on."
Do you know do you know that Patrick Swayze is really into trains?
Really?
Oh, he was. And before he died.
Man, too bad Rosario Dawson and Patrick Swayze didn't get together. What if they met on a train? It'd be real love.
There's an episode of Trailer Park Boys where they steal Patrick Swayze's train and they use it to smuggle cigarettes into America.
Really?
Yeah.
Wait, did Patrick Swayze have his own train?
Yeah, like he had a toy train.
Oh, gotcha.
They used this toy train and then they loaded it down with bootleg cigarettes. And
What?
Yes, it's so funny.
Never watched Trailer Park Boys.
It's ridiculous.
Just seems like super low budget. I've maybe watched one episode and I was like, I don't get it. I was really young if I watched it though.
I liked it.
I need to try it out.
It's like Letterkenny, but dumber.
Another thing I haven't watched. It's another show that people constantly talk about. Yeah,
completely worth it.
Is that the one? No, that's not the one where they're football players, is it?
There's hockey players.
Hockey players.
A couple of them are, but like.
Oh, I'm thinking of Blue Mountain State or something like that.
Yeah, I never watched that one.
Me neither.
So I didn't watch. I watched one episode where they made the new players pick up Oreos with their butt cheeks.
Oh, classic.
And then one of the guys ate the Oreo.
Hell yeah. It's like you can't tell if there's any poop on it because they're already dark colored Oreos. Unless there's a little bit on the cream part. Well, now that everybody's turned off the podcast, we should probably
let's call it.
Let's hop into the plot. All right, let's hop into the plot, man. So, Unstoppable, 2010, directed by Tony Scott. The movie opens with a bunch of really jittery shots of trains. It makes you feel like, uh-oh, what am I about to watch?
Trains are dangerous.
Is the whole movie going to be crazily shot like this?
Yes.
Spoiler alert. It is, but it works. We cut to Chris Pine on a quiet morning, waking up in the living room of his brother's house. He's wearing tighty-whities, and his brother's kids are just walking around. It's like, hey, put some fucking pants on, dude. Mm-hmm. He goes to watch his kid go to school. He's like watching inside the truck and looking from the rearview mirror.
Creep.
And he calls his wife when she goes back inside, and Family Guy's playing in the background.
Yeah, I thought that was interesting.
I want to make a movie where during all the very important parts, because this is like, it's such a realistic thing though. Like usually if you're doing something in your house, you got a TV show on, and most likely if you're people of our age, you're watching like Bob's Burgers, Family Guy, or something like silly cartoon or just some silly show, Friends, The Office. So if there's ever an important, serious moment in your life, if you think about it, you might actually be having like the silliest, dumbest show on in the background. And so now I want to make a movie where anytime, like constantly someone's having Family Guy playing in the background, every house. And even if there's the most serious moment, a death or anything, or an argument, you just got like Peter Griffin in the background.
Doing his cutaways.
I just think it'd be so funny. I was like, oh yeah, I wonder how many serious moments I had with Family Guy in the background.
But are they letting this kid watch Family Guy before he goes to school?
I don't know.
I mean, that seems,
when Family Guy's even playing that early.
I know, like it shouldn't be. So they've put on this DVD, like, here, son, watch your morning Family
Guy. I would.
That kid's like 6 years old.
Yeah, it is funny. We found the first problem with the movie. Family Guy does not play at 8 a.m. in the morning.
Hey, I'm not judging their parenting style.
I don't know if it was on Netflix. It might have been streaming on Netflix. I don't know. All right. So then we're at the rail yard. We see Will, who's played by Chris Pine. He's looking for Frank Barnes, played by Denzel Washington. He gets a lot of angry stares from all the older workers.
New kid.
Almost starts a fight. Will asks, "Is there a problem?" The man, "No problem. I just don't like working at a damn daycare center." Will, "Yeah, well, I don't like working at a retirement home." So it's like, whoa.
Dang.
When we're like, why are they so mean to this new guy?
Because
we'll figure out a little later, but it's just like, I don't know, man. And well, actually, we figure out almost immediately. So Will's family's name has some power, I guess, in Stanton. And that's how he got his job, even though he's not qualified, like, because he has no experience at all. To be a conductor seems pretty crazy that just straight out of training, you're like, now you're in charge of this train. It's like, maybe we let him like shadow train a little bit more. But I guess that's what he's kind of doing.
That's what he's doing with.
Yeah, but I just feel like he should start lower level, you know?
And that's why they're mad.
Yeah, that's why they're mad. And they're taking all their jobs. They
took my
job.
Nepotism sucks.
Chris Pine took my job. And then we cut to a couple of bumbling idiots, Dewey and Gillespie, I think. They have to move a train. Dewey starts the train and tells Gillespie. Now I can't remember how they say it in the movie. We'll call him the Big G. To not worry about the air brakes because, they make bad decisions. Frank tells Will that, then we come back to Frank. Frank tells Will that he has only one rule. If you don't know what to do, then ask. It's his one rule. Frank has been railroading for 28 years. We hear that 3 to 4 more times in the movie. Will has never railroaded and is doing it because it's something different.
I feel like I'm being railroaded.
Yeah. Jesse keeps making me watch these stupid action movies and railroading me. Will is prepping the train, but he gets a call from his brother. It's about a court date being moved up. Frank asks him if everything is prepped. He seems to know what he's doing. Will does.
I must have completely missed this part because I spent the whole movie wondering why there wasn't a guy in the train, in the fast train.
What?
Yeah, totally. I guess like.
Did you miss the Dewey falling over and everything?
Yeah, I guess so. Man.
The whole time we watch this movie, why won't the guy in the train stop it?
But that's what killed me, though, whenever they do it at the end. I'm like, why didn't they just do that in the beginning?
Oh, wow. Well, maybe you would probably like the movie a little bit more if you knew there wasn't a person in it.
Well, no. I knew eventually, I kind of knew that there wasn't a guy in there, but that was like, why wasn't there a guy in there?
Yeah,
and because I don't know.
We'll do that right here. Dewey notices while moving 777 or 777 that one of the rail switches is set wrong. So Dewey sets the independent to try and outrun a switch and switch the rails. So the independent is essentially the train goes by itself. Keep moving apparently. But he had like the power set all the way up because he had like 30 cars on it, so he needed a lot of power to go. And I guess it was like an independent brake he had set on. And so he thought it's like, it'll move slow. You can run out, quickly switch it, and then run back on while it's going like 5-10 miles an hour. But because he didn't have it set right, the switch, it doesn't lock the switch, I guess. And so it ends up moving. I don't know how. Maybe there's a ghost. I don't know.
Hell yeah.
It's
Ghost
like,
train?
I don't know trains, but I'm just trying to explain it the best I can.
Fuck yeah, man.
No, that was something Natalie asked. Like, I think this train's possessed. Is there ghosts on it?
Oh yeah, that's like the second season of
Ghosts.
There's a cartoon, an anime where the train is a demon.
Holy
demon
shit.
hunter. Yeah.
Oh,
Sorry.
really?
Sorry. Spoilers.
Yeah, I'll have to bleep that out. Just kidding. So, but Dewey runs out, he switches the line, and tries to chase the train to get back on it, but it's too fast and he falls over, and it's funny. Then it's like, uh-oh. It's like, dang, if only there was a faster guy doing the train.
Fucking Dewey.
Maybe TJ Miller should have been the one on the train.
Yeah.
So then we cut back to Frank and Will. They're like, Will is doing this thing where he's turning the train on like this platform.
Yeah.
It's really cool. And this is something that I'm like,
I've seen those before.
I've never knew this existed, and I never knew this was a thing. And it's cool that I get to see it.
It is kind of cool. They've got all because if you ever watch Thomas the Train, the train.
Thomas the Train Engine.
Yeah.
Thomas the Tank, the Train Engine.
They all kind of hang out in their clubhouse. It's just around one of these turntables.
Yeah. Man, I just don't remember that much about Thomas. I don't think I watched too much Thomas.
It sucks.
Does it? Oh, yeah. I guess you've had to watch it as an adult.
As far as kids shows go, not great.
Nothing will ever beat Bluey, I guess.
No, Blue is the best thing that ever happened.
I thought about watching it as an adult, but then I felt like
I like watching it.
I would be on some sort of watch list,
So it makes me feel like a bad father.
Yeah.
But I like watching it.
Yeah. So Frank remembers that it's one of his daughter's B-day. The daughter is mad at that he may have forgotten her B-day. She doesn't want to talk to him. Classic daughter or mother or wife or something doesn't want to talk to you right before you're about to be in the most dangerous situation of your life. Happens every time in these movies. And apparently Will messed up turning the track thing. He got it backwards. I don't know train stuff. So Frank tells him if he didn't know something, he should have asked. Like he said, Will confronts him about the whole picking on the new guy and the young guy thing. Frank explains that the railroad is hiring yellow vests, which is the new people, to take older people's job. Will says it's not his intentions, but Frank says people don't see it that way.
Yeah.
But again, they're blaming the wrong person.
Yes.
You got to blame the people in charge. Something you should never take out any aggression on new people whenever they get hired in on a place. Just be nice to them and show them how to do the damn job.
But they're the easiest targets.
Yeah, they really are. How about this? I tie you up to this train real quick. It's just something that we have to do at the beginning of the day.
Tie you to the front of it.
Yeah. So we meet Connie, who is being updated about the coaster. Connie, how the hell did this happen, Dewey? It just got away from me. Connie, it got away from you. It's a train, Dewey, not a chipmunk. So good. That's some dope lines in this movie, though. I don't know. I'm already getting pumped up just thinking about the movie.
Trains make me so horny.
Especially fast trains. You want to have a train to go real fast. So apparently the train is going into opposing trains. Like it's on the line so trains are going to head straight into each other. She tells them to get on the rail truck to catch it. Here's the thing. I didn't even think about it. Man, somebody makes a mistake on a railroad, like a track. Like they don't do the switch. And they accidentally miss it. It's
That's bad.
Fuck. Like
you're fucked.
So many people could die, man. It's crazy. Luckily, you're on it and you can stop it and hopefully reverse it in time. But man, I never realized. I mean, everything's dangerous. But man, I never realized the consequences of
like
messing one thing up in trains.
You see the on the news, like I think there was this past year a train collision in like India or something, and like
crazy.
Hundreds of people died. It's awful.
Golly.
Like, and you think like, how could that happen? Like, I guess it's easier than you think.
Yeah. I mean, just one mistake.
One little
forgetting to do one thing. Apparently you can just.
There's some guys back in the office going, oh, shit.
Whoops. Family Guy's playing on the background.
Oh, well, I'm sure they'll figure it out.
Yeah. So now there's a bunch of kids on a train going to a train field trip. And of course, it's the train that's heading straight for the 777 train. And they're trying to update the conductor on it. And the kids are so loud. He's stressed out. And I was like, man, this is what bus drivers felt like every day. Feel so bad. And then we meet the star of the show, baby, because we meet Ned. Ned is being sent to get ahead of the train to throw a switch that will take it off the main line. So Ned gets out of his diner and he hauls ass, baby. I love every time we cut to Ned, he's like, pedal to the metal.
Yes.
So fun. I love Ned. Oh, he's got his ponytail. So good.
He's so intense.
I know. But hey, sometimes you need a Ned.
You do.
You need a man who's just going to drive 100 miles an hour to catch a train.
Save
He's the
them
man.
kids.
He's like about to do donuts and everything. He's just driving so fast.
Just jumping ramps and shit.
It's like all wet out and everything. So good. So we cut back to Frank. Frank starts asking questions about Will. He's like, what's up with your wife? He says, it's a long story. He's like, I don't know what else you think we got to do today. And Will does the same. We learned that Frank was married once and has 2 daughters, waitressing at Hooters to pay for college. Chris Pine, I'm a fan. This is so fun, though. It's like a fun little scene between, because you finally see him kind of being like friendly a little bit, you know? Like, even though it's all about to be ruined whenever he messes something up.
It was so funny, like when he says that his daughters work at Hooters, and he just kind of stares. He says it like in smiles, like it's funny, and he's just waiting for the new guy to like say some sexist shit about his daughters, so he could beat the shit out of him. Yeah.
And, you know, it's like, it's made as like kind of a little joke in the movie. And it's probably is for fathers who have daughters that work at Hooters. Yeah. People are probably like, what?
Life
but
choices.
seriously, if you're going to pay for college, work at like Hooters or something, because you make so many tips, apparently. There was somebody that we took like they had like transportation from our apartments to the MTSU. And you could just hear like the girls that would ride the bus, like at the same time I would. They would talk about like working at like Toots and Hooters and stuff. And they'd be like,
Peaks.
it's like, yeah, I made like my month's rent in one night.
God damn.
And then like one person's like, yeah, in a really busy night, I made like 3 months rent in one night from tips alone.
I wish I had boobs.
Yeah. Well, I think they have male versions of it, but then we got to get muscles.
But you still have to have boobs.
Yeah. Like man boobs. So we cut to Connie. Connie's trying to get in touch with corporate. Then all of a sudden, Inspector Warner comes in. He's there for the train safety for the kids. She's like, get the fuck out of here. We don't need you right now. And then we see the train. It's going way faster than 10 miles per hour because there's a girl standing in front of the tracks and it's just like, what the fuck? And then Ned is at the switch waiting for it, but it's not showing up. Then Dewey and Big G show up. They start giving each other hell. He updates Connie, and now they all know that it's under power, and it's going way faster than 10 miles per hour. Dewey had it at full power because it had the 39 cars on it. Connie tells him to speed up to jump on. She has Ned haul more ass to follow the train, and he's ready for it.
His button.
Yeah, the haul ass button. It's like, what gear you got in it? Oh, it's only in 5th gear. Put it in the haul ass gear. And I love it. You get a couple of shots of the train, and it's like slowly becoming a monster at this point.
Yeah,
it's great. And then we cut to the kids' train, and it barely makes it past the coaster. The guy conducting it or driving it is just like sweating bullets. And like all the kids are like, is it supposed to be going that fast right next to us and almost hitting us?
It's a great field trip for the kids.
I know. It'd be like, Mom, you'll never guess what
we almost died.
You never guess what almost hit us while we're in a train. What, honey? Another train. It's like, oh, so you're no longer going on field trips on trains.
Did you ever go on a train field trip?
Never been on a train ever.
We did it.
I want to be on a train.
Yeah.
But not like a subway train. I mean, I would like to do a subway train, but I want to be like on like a Harry Potter type train. You know, the one's just going through like the mountainsides and stuff. Yeah, that'd be fun.
That's the kind we did.
I think it would be fun for 10 minutes. And then I'd be like, we're just in a train.
Yeah, that's kind of how it is. Yeah. But there are like really expensive train rides you can buy that go through like beautiful areas of. One of my neighbors went on one through Canada, and it was like a 7-day train ride.
Yeah,
and it's just like all the alcohol you could drink, all the food you want.
Dude, that's cool.
You got a bed. It's just on a train.
That'd be great. I mean, that's a hell of a way to travel, though. I mean,
they would make stops and go like sightseeing, and then you get back on the train.
That's even better.
Yeah. It sounds really fun.
Where was this at?
In Canada.
Canada. Classic Canada. They're always doing that. I would love to do something like that, though. That does seem like fun. It's like, oh, cool. I get to relax in a mode of transportation and have free drinks. And then I get to stop at random Canadian places.
Yeah, how? The pictures were beautiful.
Yeah. All right. So back to the movie. We're cutting back to Frank and Will. They're just chugging along. So it goes from super fast train to these guys just like going 5 miles an hour, maybe. It's great. It's great side by sides, I feel like. It really like lets you feel how fast the other train is going.
Yeah.
And then Will hooks up the car, goes to hook up the cars, but gets a call. Apparently the restraining order that is put on him by his wife is being extended for 30 more days. Frank catches him on the phone again.
God, this woman is unstoppable.
Yeah. Also, hey, Will, how about you hide properly? There's trains that can block your sight. Stop walking out into the open. Connie calls the police to set up roadblocks on all the main crossing lines. Dewey and Big G catch up to the train. Big G tries to jump on the train, but they are unsuccessful. No, thank you. What he is doing, trying to jump on the train.
That's super dangerous.
Eventually they'll have to, and it'll be someone who can do it with, 1 foot. But but yeah, they're running out of track, so like there's not going to be any more side by side tracks. So there's the only chance to do it right here. Seems to happen a lot in this movie.
Yeah.
There seems to be no long stretch of 2 trains next to each other. Probably on purpose.
Yeah. I'd hate for them to hit each other.
Yeah. So Frank and Will fight because Will put too many cars on the train. They have 25 instead of 20. Will is going to get green cheated. Oh, no.
What does that mean?
I don't know.
Fired?
He's just going to get in trouble. I guess they're not allowed to do that. I don't know what green cheating is.
Gotcha.
But this is classic real world and like real world versus training fight, like that people have all the time where it's like, yeah, you went to school and you trained. This is the real world.
Yes.
Shit gets dangerous out here. Frank brings up
Been
that,
here for 20 years.
Yeah. And then Frank brings up like, you shouldn't worry about getting green sheeted because you're a Coulson. And then like Will's like, oh, that's what this is about.
Shit. Yep. Got him.
And this is where, Will says something like insulting. He's like, you're a funny guy. You're a funny guy. In that great way that Denzel talks. So Frank gets the update about the rogue train though. Runaway train now looking back.
Such a sad song. It's
then,
about kids getting kidnapped.
I know. It's like, oh, what? Never knew
cry
that
every time
until
it
I
came
got
on.
older, and I was like, but I like the song. Now I don't want to ever listen to
Well,
the
like
song.
the music video that for they used to watch all the time on like VH1 and MTV is just so fucking sad.
Never seen it. I've never seen the video.
So
So they learn they have to pull over to get out of the way. Then we cut to news clips explaining everything. What do you think?
Everything step by step.
Yeah. So everything you just learned, we're learning again. What do you think about the news clips?
They're one of those silly things about the movie. That,
I feel like the graphics are what kind of kill it. And like the way that it's filmed with like the lines, it's like, all right. But cool thing is the newscasters were good because they're actual newscasters.
Oh, really?
From the area. And
Nice.
they filmed it in Ohio, I believe. So not Pennsylvania.
Oh. Yeah, that was funny how they're like, now Will's doing this. Whoa, now he's doing that. We've just learned that something that just immediately just happened has happened.
Yeah, I know. It's kind of, it's silly, but they're just trying to make you, like feel like, the real life consequences of how it would be, I guess. But
Good reporting though.
It can kind of be like sometimes when they cut to you, I'm like, this is a little silly. It's like, I know what happened. I saw it.
Yeah.
But it does give you the reason to have a shit ton of helicopters in the sky.
Yeah.
Which is great. If you can put more helicopters in your movie, just do it. Like them.
And the helicopters are painted the same colors as the train.
Yeah, I know. Isn't that weird?
They were matching helicopters.
Yeah,
How
it's
cute.
great. Oh my gosh. Ooh, which helicopter should we pick? What color's the train? It's like, oh, cool. We have the same color helicopter. Oh, let me change my outfit.
Yeah, one
I
of us
still
is
have the
gonna
same
have to
colors.
change.
Yeah. That's good. Okay, so headquarters calls and it's Galvin. Galvin. Yeah. I was like, did I just misspell Gavin? No, it's Galvin. She tells him that some of the cars have a toxic material on it. Inspector Warner knows about the chemicals. It's molten phenol.
Yep.
Whatever. I'm just going to call it molten. Galvin is...
I thought you were going to say molten lava. That would have been awesome.
Galvin is about to have a meeting to find out how to stop the train, but Connie isn't allowed on the call because, you figured you want the person closest to the train to be on the call, but whatever. They have to block off 173 railroad crossings. Holy shit.
And they don't do them fast enough.
Yeah.
Because they're always like just falling down as the train is barreling.
I mean, geez, like think about how many cops you have to have out and about to stop it. Like, I mean, that's a lot of manpower you're going to have.
And I don't remember when the part where they show the state troopers and they're all wearing their silly hats with the chin straps.
Yeah.
It's like the shit you wear for parades.
Yeah.
Like they're just out there all wearing it. That
well,
never
Jason,
happens.
when a train goes by you at 70 miles per hour, your hat might fly off.
That's just so funny. Like it's so tongue in cheek. Like how they're trying to show these people they're like heroes,
Mhm.
and they're always wearing their best uniform
Yeah, their best
all the
uniforms.
time.
Yeah.
Like, no, dude.
Good thing they wore their best uniform for the
Yeah.
most news covered day possible. Yeah. And then this is where we get the line. Connie tells him that the train is the size of a missile. The train
A Chrysler missile.
The train is a missile the size of a Chrysler building. Oh, Jesus Christ.
Across the building's like, oh, hey.
It's like, hey, he ain't that big. You'll see something big come over here to New York. Chrysler Building's in New York, right?
Yeah, I think
Okay,
so.
cool. So Connie wants to derail the train before it gets into the city, but Galvin denies. Bitch ass Galvin. And at one of the crossings, Ned shows up after hauling so much ass. Driver rams. And then all right, yeah, this is where the horse trailer stuff. So Ned shows up, and there's a guy who's like one of those haul truck, like rock hauling trucks that we see all the time, driving down the road. He's not paying attention because he's futzing with his radio like the whole time. It's like, hey,
Futzing.
you do not have to look at your radio so intensely when you change the stations. Just to let you know.
Maybe it was his first day.
Yeah.
He doesn't know how it works.
It's like, I've never learned this radio before. I have to really
What's
pay
this button
attention.
do? Oh, shit.
Yeah. But it causes him to hit a truck that has a horse trailer on it, and makes the horse trailer get onto the tracks right as the goddamn train's coming. And then you get this dope shot of like the people trying to get the horses out of the trailer, and you're inside the trailer with the camera.
Yes.
And you just see the train coming. And I was
scary.
like, dude, trains are so scary,
So
dude.
scary.
But it's like, I really love that shot. And it really
Kind of wish they would have let one of the horses get hit and
really
just destroyed. That would
dude,
have been
something I've learned about
incredible.
you in this podcast is you're so totally down with
Horse
horses
death?
exploding.
Yeah, man, because there's so many
Napoleon,
ways.
this
There's so many
movie.
ways to kill a horse.
Yeah. There's a ton of ways to kill everything, Jason.
But horses are more funny
It's 'cause they're
somehow.
big.
Yeah.
Yeah, I get it.
And I don't like them very much.
Yeah, well,
Scary.
I like horses because
Horses
I grew up with them. And
they're
if-
beaua majestic creatures.
if all my horses didn't eventually die of old age, I would bring one here to kick you.
I would be afraid of it.
Man, so one of my horses, it was like my horse, technically, it was called Spooky. They called it Spooky because it would get spooked real easy. But like one day, like we woke up in the morning and he was like kind of like super like cut up and bloody, like in our fence.
Shit.
And I guess that there was like, I don't know if it was like a mountain lion or cougar or whatever is in our
kick its
area.
ass?
It was just, I guess, attacking it, but like our horse was trying to get out and is just running into like the barbed
Fuck,
wire
dude.
fence and stuff.
Horses are so dumb.
It's really, well,
I'm just kidding.
he's being
I'm
attacked
just
by
kidding.
another-
I'm just kidding.
an animal that would
I know.
definitely kill
I'm
it.
sorry.
But you could see like the footprints of like some sort of big cat.
Poor Spooky.
Dad said it was a panther, and I thought there was no way because they don't live in Tennessee, I don't think.
Mountain lions, do.
Yeah, it'd just probably been a mountain lion.
Big kitty cat.
But yeah, anyway, so they get the horses out just in time. And the great shot inside the trailer, I already said that. So Frank and Will get to their siding to get off the track, but they won't fit because dumb old Will put too many cars on. So Frank says he's gonna have to go to the next rip track, which apparently is a rest and repair track. So it's like they repair trains on the rip track. I don't know. I looked it up.
It's kind of like the pit.
Yeah.
Like in racing.
Yeah. They now learn that the train has power, and they have to make it 6 miles to the rip track. Jesus Christ!
Wait.
So much words I never use. Rip.
Do trains? Can you like because of this? Things like this happen. Do they have like a cutoff? Like they can send a signal to it, like Wi-Fi.
The airlock.
Is that what that is?
Yeah, and
Oh,
they
okay.
didn't push the airlock, so
Gotcha.
that's the reason they can't. There's no dead man break because of it now. Way to go, Dewey.
Yeah.
He made all the wrong decisions.
With a name like Dewey,
Yeah.
I just feel.
Well, he was ready for lunch. Okay. You'll do a lot of dumb things if you're hungry.
Yes, I've done it.
It's like you have like the post nut clarity. It's like the post lunch clarity. It's like,
Yes, that's why I have so much clarity today.
Yes, I have eaten lunch.
I had sexual
And had
relations with my
sex.
wife.
While having lunch. I'm so clear. So the headquarters are all having their meeting. Galvin has a plan, we learn. And apparently the plan is to have another train get in front of the runaway train to slow it down. It's ran by Judd Stewart.
Just start throwing horses in front of it to slow it down.
Throw as many horses as you can. You just have a bunch of cowboys come up, get alongside it, throw lassos on it, and like, everybody break at the same time. Whoa!
I'm surprised they didn't.
And
Because I had thought that they were going to do that with the trucks.
yeah,
But then I thought different because that was dumb.
yeah, definitely wouldn't work, Jason. So, and then while they have someone in front of the train to slow it down, they're going to have someone being dropped down from a helicopter get on the train. Apparently, it was like somebody in the army or something. Maybe.
Yeah, they should do that.
Yeah, they tried it.
They should have tried it again.
Ned shows up and says that the police needs, Ned shows up after continuing to haul ass, says that he needs a police escort. And once he drops Connie's name, the police are like, all right. And so now he's hauling ass with a police escort.
Yes.
Just to let you know, every time I talk about Ned, I'm going to be saying haul ass.
Yeah, because that's all he does. It's all he knows how to do.
Good. It's so funny. I love Ned. And then we get the scene where they try to stop the train. They are not successful because whenever they are able to slow down the train to like 40 miles per hour, which is what they needed to do to drop the guy down. But as he gets onto the train, of course, it bumps into the other train and the guy goes flying into one of the other, into a window. He survives.
Somehow.
And now they're going to try to slow it down again and switch the lines to get it off the main line. And when it gets to the switch, he's still going way too fast and derails the other train and kills Judd. R.I.P. Judd. R.I.P. And I believe it's the guy that made like the, that had the retirement home joke played on him. I think everybody kind of looks
He probably
the same.
deserved it.
Although like, the background actors, I'm like, man, y'all just look like blue collar train men. And it's like the casting in it is great. Like, especially with all the extras. I'm like, these people look like they work in train yards.
I'll get to it later, but like when they get really excited.
They're really excited, yeah.
So fucking excited about trains.
Oh man, I love that.
So
it's
good.
Like every time they do something right and everybody's pumped up, I'm like, let's fucking go. So
we're a team.
Yeah. And so Frank gets in contact with Connie. It's going to be close, but they're going to be able to make it to the rip track. Frank is sad when he hears Judd died, though. They all blow their train horns at the same time out of respect. So Frank, knowing he might die, calls one of his daughters. He calls them to tell him he loves them, and they know something is up, though. It's really sad.
Hey, knock, knock.
You ever made a call like that, thinking you might die, so I better like call people?
No, I don't think so.
I have.
Damn.
Yeah, it was like when I worked in Home Depot on Winchester, there was a tornado heading straight for us.
Ugh.
And we're in a tin can, essentially.
Yes.
Filled with sharp objects and dryers that are going to crush us.
You're
and
in
water
the barn
heaters.
from Twister.
Yeah. And I remember I was just texting people. I'm like, hey, we can't, they're not letting us leave. So like, we're just in the break room.
I'm about to be perforated.
We're just like in the break room. And I'm like, there's fucking knives everywhere in here. And everybody's like, what are you doing? This is stupid. And I was like, it's coming to us. I don't know. I'm just saying something nice, guys. I don't know what's going to happen here. Luckily, I guess the wind, readjusted the tornado. That was like the really bad one. Like I remember we stayed at Home Depot from like 2 a.m. because it like knocked out power in surrounding areas. So like people from Alabama were coming to buy generators. So we had to stay there waiting for the people to come and pick up the generators.
That sucks.
And we had like we were waiting for deliveries of generators coming that night. So we got them and we were just waiting for the truck to get there. And so like the employees that stayed and all the people waiting for the generators from like Alabama and stuff, we're all just waiting. We all had pizza. It's kind of fun.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah. They only made us work a little bit.
Oh, that's good.
After hours. Cause I was like, are we going to have to like just like down stock and stuff? They're like, just for like an hour or so. And it's like, but after that, we just kind of get to chill and eat pizza. They're like, yeah. And I was like, I'm staying.
That's pretty
if
cool.
I'm going to get paid for it, I'm staying.
Yeah, you're in danger though.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, at that point we were out of the way of tornadoes, but it just kind of destroyed like all our neighboring, cities and stuff.
Tornadoes are great for business.
Yeah, they really are.
For Home Depot.
Yeah. I got a lot of overtime. So they make it to the rip track. They are head to head with the train. It's very close, but with they are able to make it out so that at least like the front of the train's not going to get hit. So they'll survive. But it does hit the last car and it just plows through it. Yeah, it's really cool. I love when trains hit things.
Yes.
I'm a basic man. I just want to see things get hit and blow up.
Hell yeah, man. Can't be an action movie without shit blowing up.
Right. So Frank learns that they are evacuating Arklow and that they are going to try to derail the train like just right outside of it. Frank thinks that the mobile derailer won't work though. And because he worked for 28 years for the railroad company, he knows. Yes. So he wants to catch up to the train and hook up his engine to slow it down and stop it. Will is against the idea until Frank brings up his wife who lives in Stanton, which is right after Arklow. And he's like, what does your wife think? And he's like, fuck. She probably thinks, dang, I hope he dies. Just kidding. So then Will decides like, hey, I'm a part of this.
She's just watching there. She's like, come on.
Yeah, come on. Die.
Fuck.
It's like, I do want to cheat on you with a cop. So Connie calls Frank and them. Frank tells her he is going after the train. Connie learns from Frank that they are using a derailer. So Connie doesn't even know that they're about to derail a train. Connie says they shouldn't derail it because they are going into populated areas. And if they just fucking listened to her, they could have derailed it in a field or something.
Yeah, it could, or just remove the tracks or something.
Yeah.
I feel like there's more than one way to derail a train.
Yeah. But, they don't want to mess up any.
Put a bunch of pennies on it.
They don't want to mess up, the tracks, I guess,
Well, we could just put them back. Like,
greed.
Oh, yeah, we don't want to mess up the tracks, but we also want to save these people.
Yeah, it's like they just kind of got into the situation where like, well, now it's too late because we took too long. I guess the idea is the train's going way too fast to like spend time derailing it or like taking off tracks. I have no idea how long it takes to take off a track. So
I don't either.
So Connie is mad because if they derailed it when she said to, it wouldn't be as big of a deal. Frank is patched in with Connie and Galvin at this point. Frank tells him it won't work and that he's going after it. Then we will learn that the real threat is that there is an S-curve in Stanton that the train is heading for. And apparently the speed limit for that is 15 miles per hour. They are going 70.
And this S-curve is surrounded by flammable stuff.
I know. I'm like, man, people just really don't think about where they put things. But who would ever thought this would happen?
They're just going to run it to the nuclear weapon factory.
Yeah. And so essentially if the train derails, this is going to blow up a whole city.
Hell yeah. I'm here for it.
This is why Galvin's wanting to derail it now. And he's like, well, it's our only option. Galvin tells him to stop or he will fire Frank. Then we learn that Frank already got his 90 days notice and it's 72 days ago is when he got it. He is being forced to retire with half benefits.
That sucks.
Frank says he isn't doing it for Galvin. He's doing it to save the train.
What a hero. Save the train.
His true love is 777. Yeah, man, if only that, I guess this train company isn't unionized.
No, I think they are.
Because, I mean, I don't know if it's like this specific one. Might not be. Because isn't that like a union issue? And like unions would step in and be like, no, you're giving them full benefits.
They should.
I don't know how unions work. And
I don't really
maybe
know
they just
either.
didn't add it into the movie because it'd be too complicated to explain.
I feel like most train.
But this is why we shouldn't get rid of them, even though that seems to be the plan for some people. So, I don't know. Maybe watch this movie and think about things.
Hell yeah.
So Will takes the radio, though, to talk to Galvin. He says, Mr. Galvin, this is Will Coulson, your conductor. I'm letting you know we're going to run this bitch down.
Yes.
Like, let's go. And then Denzel's like, sir, you're breaking up. And he almost does an act. He's like, act. And I was like, oh, Mars Attacks is happening.
Yes.
Everything leads to another movie we covered. Yeah. So Frank asks Will what his long story is with his wife.
Because this is a good time.
Yeah.
This is a good time to have a weird conversation.
You gotta.
I feel like you should be focused on the bad train.
I feel like it's one of those things where it's like, well, we're all super nervous. We have a long time till we're catching up with this train. Let's try to not think about the fact that we might die soon.
Yeah. Or maybe use that time to formulate a plan.
Yeah. Hey, he's got a plan. He's going to run that bitch down.
Yeah.
So we learned that Will got paranoid about his wife texting someone and he wanted to see the phone. And apparently they went to high school with this cop that really liked her. His wife is named Darcy. And so he wants to see the phone and he goes to grab at it and I guess it scares her. And then he like leaves and he goes to the cop's house and they have a conversation. He tries to explain everything's okay. But then we learn that Will had a gun with him and he like threatened him to never talk to his wife again. And then when Will goes back,
what's wrong with that?
yeah, I mean, hey, pretty ballsy to threaten a cop with a gun, though.
Some
cool.
people might find that flattering.
Yeah. And the kicker is that his wife was texting his sister-in-law, something like that.
So then he pulled a gun on her.
Yeah, it's like, why are you texting her? But he learned that when he gets back to his wife's house, that all of the cop buddies are there waiting with a restraining order, and that's why
like to restrain him from being around cops?
Around her. Slapped him for her, so he can't be around her, the kid. And he's like, I'll never be able to be with her again at this point. And like Frank's like, it's not too late, man. You can always make things up.
Yeah, just leave the gun at home, I guess.
Yeah, just wait till she falls asleep, then look at her phone. I don't know. Just like don't get too crazy immediately.
Tie her to the train tracks.
Yeah, after learning Will is not a very good guy, I guess.
He just made a big mistake.
Yeah. It's like one day everything's going fine and the next day it's not. It's like, yeah, usually when you pull a gun out on a cop, the next day is not very good.
Yeah, and it's never going to end up
never going to
well
work out
for you.
Yeah. So we get a scene where the police try and shoot the emergency stop on the outside of the train.
Fucking funny.
But then they stop because they see it's right on a diesel fuel tank.
Man. You think the truck full of diesel with carrying like 1 million pounds of explosion gel is gonna?
Odd thing is, you know what? Maybe a good idea. You blow the train's fuel line up, and then maybe it just runs out of gas and stops.
If there's nobody in it,
yeah,
fucking fire away.
Just to like get back further. I don't know.
Yeah, they were too close.
Yeah, and also just because you shoot a tank of gas doesn't mean it explodes. No, it usually just means unless there's a spark. So as long as you shoot metal on metal and there's no spark, you should be okay.
And they're kind of designed not to explode like they do in the movies.
Yeah. But it's cool if it did.
It does. It is a cool thing.
Matthew McConaughey from Dazed and Confused would be a lot cooler if it did.
Yes.
So 777 comes up on the derailer, and it's like this whole set. They explain how the derailer works. And as it comes, where everybody's got hope, and it just plows through it and does absolutely nothing except blow up some cop cars for some reason.
Because of shrapnel grenades.
Why are all those cop cars right next to the track?
Probably to block them from getting hit by the crap.
Wait. No, it did show that they're all in a line, and the front car wasn't starting because they were working on it. That's right. It just clicked in my head.
I thought for sure, like when I saw that, I was like, they parked on the tracks, didn't they?
Might have been a better idea. Maybe, you know what? Your idea of putting trucks in front of the tracks starting to work.
Just debris.
Yeah. And I love, like, Frank was right, and he starts laughing, like, ha ha ha.
Yeah, you get that little ha
ha. I've worked on the railroad for 28 years. Then Frank tells his story. He says that his wife died of cancer 7 years ago. And they are
train cancer.
Yeah. And this is just leading them to become more friends. Frank tells him to call his wife. And he's like, well, I can't. It's like, I've called her. She hasn't called me back. It's like, well, you need to call her again. You quit too easy. Like, just give him some old man advice there.
My wife was watching this. She goes, yeah, men do quit too easy.
Yeah. Like, well, if we don't quit, then we become creeps.
We get restraining orders.
There's a delicate middle ground.
Yes.
Men have yet to find it.
No, we never will.
Just depends on who you're talking to, I guess. It's like, let's see. All right, I've tried to call 3 times. Is the 4th time creepy, or am I quitting too early?
Dick pic.
Did your wife like the movie?
She didn't watch much of it. She was just kind of there when that part happened.
Gotcha. So we cut to Darcy, who was sleeping, because I guess she works at night and can sleep through all telephone calls. She is finding out about the whole situation. She turns off Family Guy to put on the news. She sees Will's on the train, and Frank's daughter see that Frank is going after the train because they're now all of Hooters is invested.
Yeah,
it's like,
man, maybe Will doesn't have to worry about getting back together with his wife.
Yeah,
he can just go to Hooters.
Go to Hooters. Probably go with one of Denzel's daughters. We get a quick shot of Ned hauling ass next to a train. Warner talks to Frank, telling him that Frank needs to, whenever he attaches to the other train, to alternate full throttle with braking. And because Frank was just like,
he's like, you sure that's going to work? I've been here for 28 years.
Yeah, he was just going to attach to it and then just go forward as fast as possible to try to
I feel like that would just
rip
it apart.
Yeah. So apparently, like, the braking would help slow it down because it'd be like resistance and then like they go. Resistance and then they go. Something like that. I don't know trains. Frank asks if they can trust this guy. Connie says, then in a perfect world, we can trust them.
Yeah, I like that. I like that she's kind of in control of this.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
he trusts her judgment. That's
It's definitely,
cool.
it's classic. Oh, big wigs don't know shit.
Yeah.
I've worked here for 28 years.
they
I know everything.
They know what the paper says.
You know what? The thing is, it's always true. You know, working in a factory, I'm always like, man, y'all don't know nothing about running
No,
these
they don't.
machines. You just don't know. You don't know. I'm sorry. You just don't. You
They're
have an
just-
idea, but you don't know.
Yeah, they've read the manual.
Yeah.
Probably.
It's like, come on here, show me how to do that. So Will decided that he will be the one going outside, hooking up to 777. They get up on it to attach it to them. So like, yeah, they're like backing into it, and like he hits it, and of course when he hits it, it like hurts the car, the last car on it.
It like
Of
busts
course,
the
it
seal.
has to be a grain truck.
Yeah.
So it's just like pelting them with grain. It's really cool. I'm like, oh, I did not expect this to be more intense than it already is.
Yeah, it looks like liquid at
Yeah,
first. There's
and
just so much of it.
So like he backs into it and it attaches, but like the pin didn't drop. So then Will has to sit there and stomp on the pin trying to get it to hit. But then his leg like slips and the
Oh.
train kind of crushes his foot.
Ouch.
Ouchie. And he's like
Yeah.
looking like he's about to fall off. But the pin did go successfully in at that point.
I know. And then the copters are like,
Where did he go?
Like, Will's gone. Oh, there's Will.
Yeah.
He's
like,
done something.
It's like, wow, you just gave his wife a heart attack by saying, he's gone. It's like, yeah, that means he's probably under the train.
She's like, yes.
Yes. I'm going to have sex with every single person at the station. But then we see that he did it. He successfully did it, and he got onto the train, and then he limps back with a bloody foot back into the
It's funny how he
compartment.
tapes it up. Because
Yeah.
then later he's like in a yellow cast. It kind of looked like they just put yellow tape on.
Yeah. Yeah, because when he gets back into the train car, I don't know what you call the front of the train engine. I don't know what you
It's
call
just that's the engine.
the engine. Yeah, the front of the train.
Yeah.
I'll just say that. He goes in. Denzel's like, wrap some duct tape on it. That'll help. Connie calls to check in. He's like, how's Will? Denzel,
He's different.
He's different. So it's such a good line. I thought about doing that at the beginning too. So they match speed and then start slowing down. He then takes Warner's advice and alternates between full throttle and braking, and it starts to slow down. Yeah,
a
boy.
little bit.
But suddenly it's immediately not working anymore, and they're being dragged by the train now because it's too heavy and got too much speed.
Yeah, I was so confused because I was like, why does the train keep speeding up
Yeah.
the whole time? Because I didn't see that one part.
Yeah.
That's kind of important.
Ghost train. There's a ghost conductor.
Hell yeah.
So the max speed on the train is, the max speed on the turn that they're about to come up on in Stanton is 25 miles per hour.
Oh,
The speed
yeah.
limit's 15.
I thought it was 15.
The highest that they can go to make it is potentially 25. They are going 70. So they come up with a plan to use the individual brakes on the train cars to stop it. So Frank's essentially going to go out there and like manually handbrake all of the trains as far as he can to slow it down.
Yeah.
I love it because Will's starting to kind of like say something like kind of sweet. And he's like, Denzel's, don't get sentimental on me. Makes me think I'm going to die.
Yes. Yeah. Ashley was
yeah.
like, he's going to die.
Yeah. So Frank decides that he is the one to engage the individual brake. He successfully starts braking the last few cars. The train is starting to slow down until Will and Frank's train loses their brakes
Yeah.
and
it
their
just
engines,
explodes.
essentially.
It's
Yeah.
awesome.
And it was like the inspector immediately right before it says, man, I hope their brakes don't go out.
But Denzel's like, or Frank, he's like, just blow the block,
Yeah.
just do it.
Just do it.
And
Yeah.
then they're all like really surprised that it happened.
Yeah. So right when they're coming up on the turn, while
And then
they're
the news crew's like, I think they're going to blow the block.
yeah.
He's just repeating what they've just said to each other.
Yeah. So as they come up on the turn, we learn that the train will derail right in front of a bunch of giant fuel tanks.
How embarrassing.
Yeah. And so they're hitting the turn with Frank on top of 777. They're going about 40 miles
God,
per
that'd be
hour,
terrifying.
essentially something. And as they hit the curve, Frank tells Will to hit the independent brake, which is like a separate brake, I guess.
Sure.
I don't know. And so he just tells him to like start, like just slam the brake. And the train starts to tip. Hell yeah. It's reminiscent of Speed when the
Yes.
bus gets on it.
Hell yeah.
And it looks like it's going to fall off, and some of the cargo falls off, but hitting the independent brake causes the train to slow down enough to land the train back on the track. Fuck yeah. They did it. So what did you think of the scene, though? Like, was it too silly, or did you think that it was like pretty intense?
It was pretty intense. It was kind of cool.
Yeah.
Because I was kind of hoping something would explode, but can't win it every time.
Always hoping for something to explode, Jason. Come on, man. So Frank is now trying to make it to the front of the train to stop it.
Yeah, you think they're like, oh, let's just go to the front.
Yeah. Well, it's just like, hey, I can probably just run across this train, right? Super dangerous. Like, not everybody's Tom Cruise that can do it. Or James Bond, Skyfall.
Hell yeah.
But he gets to a point where like the jump's too far because it's like unstable. It's like just a bunch of beams and stuff, rounded beams,
big
pipes it. Yeah, so he can't make the jump. But luckily, our boy Ned, who's been
still hauling
ass, gets next to the train because luckily there's a road right next to the train now. He tells Will to jump onto the truck. Will is able to do so successfully. Holy hell, that would be scary. Yeah. I'd be like, I don't know, man. I don't know. Let's just figure something.
I was so pissed off at Ned though. Whenever he's trying to get Will to jump into the truck,
pussy.
Yeah, he's like, "Come on, you pussy!" Like, okay, for one, like this is super scary.
It's like, hey, Ned, I know you're like adrenaline is pumping. You've had a police escort for like 2 hours here, and you have a huge ponytail, so that gives you a lot more testosterone. But this is scary, and he's got one leg.
Yes,
man, I would like to, if like there was pads everywhere, I'd like to try to jump into it. That'd be kind of fun. But also scary. But Ned, he ain't done hauling ass, baby. He's got more ass to haul.
He gets into the next highest gear, which is super ass
hauling. Because they're gonna go to the front of the train so Will can jump on the train and stop it. The issue is they're running out of parallel road. And if they don't stop it, Frank's going to die probably.
Yeah.
So they get next to the front of the train. Will tries to make the jump and successfully does. He did it.
Super pumped.
With all of Philadelphia watching on, screaming at their TVs. All these meatheads are high-fiving each other.
Yeah, I'd be watching this.
Kissing, hugging. And Will stops the train with Frank celebrating on top. They give each other the classic
we did it.
Mr. Fantastic Mr. Fox.
Oh,
we all put their
the
hands in the air.
Punch.
Yeah. And as the train stops, Will notices that he got a missed call from Darcy. Frank and Will give each other a look, and Darcy gives Will a big old hug. And then we cut to the press conference. Ned is giving a speech saying, like, I was built for this. I got that
28 years.
I got that dog in me. I'm Ned.
I want to go fast.
I'm the all-haul asser of the railroad system. Frank and Will are also at the press conference. They're making jokes. We learned that Frank's getting his job back and maybe a better one.
Before the press conference, like whenever they find out that the train, the day has been saved, and it cuts to all the people watching it and they're screaming, they're just like the most intense, like, yes! Fuck yes!
We saved all of Philadelphia!
It just seems so a little over the top.
Yeah,
I don't know.
It's like, all right,
some of them really angrily screaming.
Your team didn't win like the big game here. Right? Why are we still screaming like an hour later?
Anyway. Yeah.
And Connie shows up and it's like, I don't know which one of you I'm gonna kiss first. Frank, like, me? Yes. So and then he kisses the cheek, and like Connie has like a real like kind of like adorable reaction to kissing him on the cheek. That was because that was the first take of it, and
it's her first kiss.
Rosario Dawson was super excited to give Denzel Washington a kiss on the cheek because everybody's a huge fan of Denzel, and so when she does it, like her genuine like reaction, like, oh, I can't believe I just did that. That was like a real reaction.
Denzel wipes his face. Yeah, and goes, ew,
like,
cooties.
Dude, like I only like my wife who died of cancer 7 years ago, which happens to be I was 21 years into my 28-year railroading career. It's like, Frank, we get it. And then we get a shot of a helicopter saying over and out. And then we get the classic, like, Animal House, like, what happened next? Frank was promoted, retired, and then eventually retired with full benefits. Way to go, Frank. Will is married to Darcy and has a second kid on the way. And he's only had to steal her phone one other time. Connie was promoted to Galvin's old job. And Dewey's working in fast food.
Nice.
He should be in jail. People died because of him.
I feel like I don't know. Dewey's just maybe should have given him a pass this one time. Surely he wouldn't do it again.
Well, I'll have to disagree with you on that one, Jason. This guy should be at least go to have probation or something.
No, it just needs like retraining. You know?
A horse trailer died, Jason.
A horse.
A horse trailer. Those things are expensive, man.
Yeah.
And that's the film. We're gonna go into our categories first. Before we end the podcast, I don't know why I'm saying it the way I am. So our first category is the good, the bad, the ugly, the fine. We talk about the good of the film, something we like; the bad, something we didn't like; the ugly, something we thought didn't age well; the fine, something that did age well. What do you got for the good?
It's kind of cool to see how trains work.
Yeah,
I guess.
Yeah,
and like an unstoppable train, it's fucking cool.
Yeah, never thought about runaway trains, and now I think about them more than I ever have.
Yeah, 100% increase in my train thought.
I've also think I've said train in this podcast more than I've ever seen train in my life.
Yeah.
The only train I like is the ones I run. You get it? It's like a sex joke or something.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
I'm cutting it.
Very funny.
Yes. Everybody's laughing. All of Philadelphia is throwing their hands in the air.
Yeah, all of Philadelphia is listening right now. This is their favorite movie.
So my good was the filmmaking, just in general. I just thought that you made a train something scary and look faster than trains look in real life.
Yeah.
And it's cool.
It was cool.
And also Denzel Washington.
He's always fun.
He's great. No matter what, he can be in the worst movie ever. He goes for it and he does it.
Hell yeah.
And he's just one of our best actors.
Yeah.
What do you got for the bad?
I think I touched on it a little bit. Not enough horse dying.
Sure.
But
you hate horses and want them all
I hate
to
when
die.
horses live.
Yes. Jason, if you became president, what would you do? Kill all horses?
No, I just put them in like an internment camp.
Oh, okay. Cool. Wow. People don't like our podcast anymore. My main bad was the news segments. They just looked fake.
Yeah.
They looked really fake. And it's because
the news was
they're
cheesy.
filming with the same type of camera that they use to actually film the movie, and they try to like
their flip
grain it up
phones.
a little bit, and it doesn't look as good. It just doesn't look as good. And it just looks. They almost never news in movies almost always looks bad.
Yeah.
The graphics never look accurate, because it takes a lot of time to prepare for a news show. I've learned that in school. So the ugly, what do you got for something that didn't age well? Flip phones? Mine was just flip phones.
Yeah, flip phones. They
look
don't.
so bad.
They kind of age out. You can still get them though. We got
burner phones.
Yeah.
How many you got? How many burner phones you got?
None anymore. That's the whole point.
That's true. What do you got for something that aged well?
I don't know. Mutton chops.
Yeah. Were they ever actually cool?
Yeah. I mean, Ned makes them cool.
In the 50s, maybe? Yeah. Hell yeah.
You never see them, but when you do see them, you're like, that is kind of cool.
Yeah. It's like, I wish I could grow sideburns so I could do that, but I cannot. I have no sideburns.
Like Joe Dirt, like he doesn't have sideburns.
Yeah. Hey, not everybody can grow sideburns, Jason. Stop laughing.
Really? I mean,
seriously, I can't. It's very embarrassing. It's not embarrassing. It's just I just can't do it. Whatever. I'm not a hairy boy.
I am.
So now that you know how much hair we have, we'll go to the fine. Something that aged well. I picked Tony Scott, even though he's dead, so technically he can't age anymore.
No, he didn't age well.
But he's a great director. I mean, shoot, we had a sequel to Top Gun, and because Top Gun 1 is so well loved, it made billions of dollars.
Hell
so
yeah, dude.
it's like Tony Scott will live on through the movies. And I love that. What do you got? Something aged well.
Something that aged well. I mean, I think after this, of course, when was, because I think Chris Pine, like, I don't know how far in his
It's kind of the
career.
beginning of his career.
Yeah.
It was Star Trek, this, and then
Yeah.
a bunch of like bad romantic comedies.
Well, yeah, I kind of like, his career from this point on. So
Yeah, he's
maybe
kind of, I think he's one of the Chris's, our Hollywood Chris's. And it's like he's usually one of the more popular ones. Like in terms of like acting, I feel like he's probably the best actor of all the Chris's. See, he's got more of a dynamic range than the other ones. The other ones just seem to be, hey, we're funny. And usually when we're not doing funny, it doesn't quite work as well.
Yeah.
Versus Chris Pine can do funny and also serious
at the
and
same time.
He's more of a believable, handsome actor. You know, he looks like he would work in certain jobs versus you look at Chris Hemsworth and it's like,
he's too pretty.
You're a model. That's all you can do. You're either acting or a model. Same with Chris
Hemsworth?
Pratt. Well, Pratt used to be like you could see him as an everyday guy, but now he's too muscular as well. And then the other Chris, that Captain America Chris. Anyways, so we are gonna move to our next category, double feature. It's a movie that goes great with the movie Unstoppable. Do you have anything?
Training Day, I think.
Yeah.
Because it has train in the word, and Denzel Washington.
It's giving shit to another new guy.
Yeah,
he loves to do it.
He's good at that.
I picked that. It's very similar, but instead of on the ground, it's in the sky. Con Air, baby.
Put the bunny down.
Yeah. But yeah, I do understand what you're saying with Super 8. Like, yeah, the giant train
that was
crash.
Fucking
so
awesome.
Good. And something Con Air has, giant plane crash.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
And a bunch of criminals.
Yeah.
that escape.
It's way sillier than Unstoppable.
And Nicolas Cage's accent is awful.
Yeah. But his hair,
it's on point.
A masterpiece. No, Con Air is so much fun. If you like,
it really is fun.
Just some people trying to get off a plane and stuff, just like you want to get off a train. That's the movie I'd go with. It's way too long, but it
is pretty long.
But when they get to like Vegas or wherever they're at, it's like, is this going to end? Like, you did the movie. You already did the plot of the movie.
And I love how he got sent to prison for being too good at karate.
Yeah.
That was just the best.
Man. His hands are lethal weapons.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's our episode covering Unstoppable. I hope you liked it. And if you've never seen it and then you watched it and you liked it, let us know.
That was super fun.
Because Unstoppable is just kind of a lost gem. I just feel like it's like a good movie that nobody talks about, and they should. So
maybe because it is stoppable. Because they did stop it.
It was not unstoppable. I mean, it was until they actually hit the brakes in the account. But without that, it was an unstoppable train.
It was so anticlimactic when he stopped it for me.
It's like, oh, somebody just had to press the brake.
Yeah, he's just like, oh, let's just slow down.
If only they had, what they really needed was Spider-Man.
Hell yeah.
Spider-Man would have stopped that train.
Whenever he fell between the two, whenever they were trying to couple the cars together and he fell, I thought they were going to do that, where he tries to hold them together. And he just gets ripped in half.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Man, these movies would be nothing if they just had superheroes in real life. All right, so that's our discussion of Unstoppable. Join us next week for part 1 of a 2-week two-parter. 2 weeks in a row, we're doing the same movie from the same universe. The first movie we're doing is Kill Bill Part 1.
Hell yes. I fucking love that movie so much.
This was a movie last week off air me and Jason talked about, and I was like, oh yeah, we should do Kill Bill. We can do our first Quentin Tarantino movie. Then I was like, well, then we should just do the next week right after Kill Bill Part 2. So for 2 straight weeks, we are living in the Kill Bill world.
Pucker up your lips and get ready to whistle.
Yeah. Get in your pussy wagon and let's drive down the road.
You and Ned
baby.
get in there and haul ass.
Yeah. God, I hope Ned comes back in my life at some point. I hope I watch a movie and that same actor is just driving fast. Yeah. So join us next week for that. And if you'd love to leave us some fan mail or something, go into our description. You'll see there's a link at the top and our email's at the bottom. We recommend mailbag@gmail.com.
Rate and reviews so we can spread it.
Yes. Give us a review on Apple Podcasts, or if you're on Spotify, give us 5-star. Just tell us nice things about us. And, share our episodes with some of your friends. If there's a movie lover and you're like, yeah, this guy likes nonsense, so let's share it with my friend that likes nonsense.
Yeah, Christmas is coming up.
Yeah.
It's a good stocking stuffer.
Yeah, our podcast. Just gift wrap their phone. Have it set on our podcast. When they open it, like, here's a free podcast. So do that. Just tell your friends about us. It'd be fun. And then if you want to follow us on social media, go to our Linktree/We Recommend Podcast. It's the quickest way to just get to our social medias, man. So do it. And you can also listen to us everywhere on Linktree. Thank you, Joey Prosser, for our intro and outro. You can follow him on X at Mr. Joey Prosser. And that's it. I've been Jesse. This has been the We Recommend Podcast. I've been Jesse.
I've also been Jason.
It's the train's the size of a missile. The size of the Chrysler Building. Bye. I don't know. Fuck that up.